Hello everybody. So today I'm going to do a full video on how we tie up our Ruckus Snap heads, and this is a design I created myself. It has this particular Ruckus Snap model has the 3D doll eyes, and the foot snaps in, and what you can do is you can snap the foot in, and you'll hear a little snap, and it should snap twice. And you can pretty much, you don't have to glue them in. You can leave them to where they're just snapped in and hot swap skirts out. A lot of times the pressure of the troll, I mean, there's no reason why these things are going to come out on the troll anyway, and if fish wax it around a bit, you can easily just snap them back in because this stuff lasts forever. If you want to, I super glue all of mine in for when I sell them, but you can buy, like I said, you can buy these heads directly off our website, evolutionlures.com, and you can make your own. You can do whatever hair combination you like. So anyway, today I'm gonna quickly just tie up one and show you guys how it works. I've got my scale here, and I've got all my lure hair in the boxes. And for this one, actually, I'm going to go with a simple blue and white, just to keep things simple. And what I'm going to do is pull out around 5.5 grams of hair per side, so per color. And you don't have to measure them if you don't want to. Measure the weight. Well, I like to measure the weight just to have a consistency across all the lures. All right. So each of these again is 5.5, and what you want to do, I've got a little. One of the 3D printing companies actually sends these little things with a roll of filament, but this actually it makes a nice little flat surface, and I can move my hair around, and it actually is exactly the length of the hair. So what I do is I take this could be a coaster or any sort of flat surface, and you want to just pat it down. What this does is it evens all the hair out, and if you notice, I'm just pull this apart a bit. You have to tap the ends a little bit to get it all straight, and that just makes it for a clean tie. I've seen guys just whip it out, whip them together without doing any of this, but I feel like it just makes a nicer tie, and it you can make pretty much the same exact lure over and over again with little differences. Okay, so I've got the two pieces. I'm gonna push them together. And what I like to do is actually create a small taper. If you look, a little more hair in the center and a little less hair on the ends. And what that does is when you tie it together, it somehow it makes it more even. Keeps you from having to fiddle with it as much. All right, so just pull an arm's length of hair. A line. And what we'll do is left this overhanging just slightly, pull that up, and I'm gonna go in about a 1/2 inch from the end of the hair, so that's just sitting there under the under the hair. We pull our foot off, and now you can, if you don't want to put Mylar on this thing, you don't have to. It's designed to where it can support a Mylar skirt. I'm going to go ahead and put one on real quick just to show you. In fact, we do all of our lures with Mylar skirts. And I'll just cut this real quick. Get our double-sided tape. Line that up. Cut off the excess. ready to put this on the foot. And what you want to do is hold the foot down and just put that right in there on the lip and squeeze it tight. You're going to have some excess. If you just want as much flash as possible, you can you don't have to cut the excess off, but if you want it to be nice and tidy, excuse me. If you want it to be nice and tidy, you just cut that little excess bit off to where the two ends will meet right up together. So that when you finish the lure and you fan it out, it has everything's perfectly nice spread apart. Looks a lot more like an Islander professional style lure. Anyway, okay, so here you'll notice some of these feet might have a little indentation in them. That represents the eyes on the side. Some don't. It depends on the type of eyes we're using. So what you want to do is, if it does, you want to lay that indentation down right at the split of the hair color, so that when you tie it up, you'll know that that lines up with the eyes. If it doesn't have that little indentation, it really doesn't matter where you put it. So anyway, okay, so now that we've got our hair in there, I'm going to do surgeon knot, which is basically 3 times like through, and then slowly, this is the tricky part, just slowly pull and then watch the hair come close, and then there you go, you're pretty good right there. And you want to make sure that all the hair is even. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to just pull it together slightly right there, pat it a little bit, pull it straight, keep it straight, and then I'm going to tighten it again and flip it over and do the same thing on the other side. One, two, three. Hold tight. Now we're just going to flip it over, take a look at it, and just kind of give it a little pat to straighten out the hair. And then what you want to do is just make sure everything is even. Make sure that those two colors line up with the eyes, where the eyes are going to be, and make sure the hair is not clumped up in any particular place. What I like to do sometimes, if you see like this Mylar is actually still together, if you want, you can kind of hold it by that, and you'll notice if one side's heavier than the other, and that gives you an idea that maybe something's not right. And in this case, I could see that the blue was actually heavier than the white side, and it's not because there's more hair, it's just because it's unevenly distributed. So you just got to play with it a little bit more and get it even. A lot of times you look at the back side, you can see there's some clump there. Let me flatten that out a little bit. And that should be good. All right. So now that we've got everything ready to go, we make a loop. Now I've seen guys do this a lot of different ways. I've used a bunch of different ways myself, and I've found at the end of the day that this one works best for me. There's other videos on YouTube that show how to do this in different ways. But anyway, so I'm going to make a loop of 1, 2, cinch, not too hard because it'll actually pull that loop out because you're not ready yet, and then 1, 2 more. And when you do 1, 2 more, now you can really tighten down. And what this does, why I like this better than a lot of the other methods I've seen, is you just can't get as tight with a bunch of square knots on each side as you can by doing this method. And what this does is you can actually put maximum force on this, and that prevents some of that hair from coming out, because that's a problem with a lot of the hand-tied sea witches. The hair just wants to come out after a couple of fish. So again, each time I'm going to go around twice and then cinch, twice, cinch, and do that around 10 times on each side. So now we've got it, go through the loop, pull tight, and then pull the tag in. So what that does is it's just like we tie on a regular squid skirt, but we're actually going to do this twice on each direction, or once on each direction. So then again, come through here, make that loop. And then go 1, 2. You don't have to worry about it. You can really pull. And what you want to do is you want to get it close to the top of that collar, so it actually, the twine will actually fold in and create a tight sort of crimp against that collar that's inside of there. And you can just keep doing that until it disappears. And you know you're pulling tight enough when a couple of things, when the hair clears up, you can actually see through it. The twine clears up. And when you pull this tag in, if it's too easy to pull through, you're probably not pulling tight enough. You really want to pull it as tight as you can without breaking this 30-pound wax line. Now again, we're going to pull this tight. And you can see I can barely pull it through there. That means it's good and tight. Alright, so I'm going to cut all the excess off. Usually leave like a 1/4 inch there. And I just fold those over like that. Because what we're going to do next, just to really lock it in, is put a bit of nail polish on there. But first, before I do that even, I'm going to take the scissors and I'm going to trim off this flush with the top of the back there. We're just going to give it a little trim. Usually I do this over a garbage can, but just so you can see it, I'll do it here. Alright, so now go ahead and get our super cheap glittery nail polish. What this does is this just dries in like 45 seconds. You can get it for like $1.45 at the store. And what I want to do is just roll that over both ways. One way, and then roll it over again both ways the other way. And that gives us full coverage all the way around, and that really, what it does is just seals it all together. Now, we're ready to put this all together. Got a nice seawitch head here, ready to go. I mean, let's face it, you probably could pull this around and it would work, but the heads themselves have a nice bit of weight to them, and this chug style adds realism and a really nice bubble trail. So really, you could just snap it in at this point, but like I said, I like to super glue mine in. And in this case, I'm just going to go around. We do a little ring around the top and down a little bit down each side. Just make sure you don't touch the hair with this stuff because it's unforgiving if you do. And then just around each side. There you go. And then now all we have to do is snap this baby on. So each one of the heads has a seam running along the bottom, and so that means the blue, in this case, is going to be the back. I'm going to put the seam on the white hair, and just go ahead and take this and just snap it down. And that's it. You can now adjust the little Mylar strips to be even. And there you go. There's our finished lure. You can also trim off the back. I've actually 3D printed a bunch of these different length tubes. This makes it easy. In this case, I'm gonna make this one. We'll make this one 5.5 inch. So I've got my 5.5 inch tube, and just put that in there, and we'll just trim off all the remainder. And take it out. just one more little final cleanup, because that doesn't, the hair doesn't always make it even as you would think it would. Alright, and that's it. Your lure's ready to go. Thanks.